team. I would like to introduce Swetha Ramesh, who is our training and communication specialist, as well as Kendra Roche. So I will turn it over to them so that they can introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Wonderful. My name is Swetha. I am the Communications and Training Specialist for the School Programs team here at OSSI. So I'm here to support today's training. You'll hear from Lizette and Kendra on farm applications and direct certification for free and reduced price meals. And if you have any questions regarding training, next steps, follow-up, I'll do my best to help support that and answer those questions as well. So wonderful to meet everybody, and looking forward to this training.
Thank you, Swetha.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kendra Walsh. I am a program specialist, and I will be handling the free and reduced price meal or farm application section of this training today. And again, if you have any questions, we'll have a Q&A section at the end of this training. And then also you can always reach out to your program specialist for any further questions. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Kendra. And just a couple of housekeeping notes. So first and foremost, this meeting is going to be recorded and it will be saved to our website. In addition to the slides for this training will be available on our website. We will share communication when that becomes available. And as Kendra mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Feel free to either ask your questions by coming off of mute or to put them in the chat. Speaking of the chat, we invite you to utilize the chat at this time to share your name, share what school you are with, and maybe just share with us how long you've been in your role with school meals programs. So we will take a couple of minutes for folks to do that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get right into today's content. So as Kendra mentioned, she will be sharing the farm portion of our program. I'm going to kick us off with the direct certification portion of our program, of our training, I should say. Okay, so the direct certification list is available in Click. So some of you who have been around sometime may remember good old SLED, but direct certification is now available through Click. And direct certification allows all points of contacts to have access to this application. And if you need to update staff points of contact, please utilize the integrated data submission tool and submit your information to your data liaison so that you can gain access to Click. So that is the first and most important tip that I want to share with you. If you do not have access to Click, please make sure that you work with your data contact to gain access. So data certification, direct certification allows local educators, local education agencies, or LEAs, to certify children as eligible for free meals using participant data from other means tested programs. This eliminates the need for a free and reduced meal, also known as the farm application, to be obtained from the family. DC Department of Health Human Services, also known as DHS, the Income Maintenance Administration, identifies individuals between and including ages 3 and 21 that are participating in Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF, or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Programs, better known as SNAP. Additionally, students who are identified as homeless or foster are also included in the direct certification list in the Click website. So what are the advantages of running the direct certification list? Some of the advantages include that the fact the fact that families do not need to complete a meal application. So that means less paperwork for the school to handle for that student's eligibility status. It also means that because you have less applications, you won't have as many errors located on those applications. Eligible students can be added throughout the school year since schools are required to run the direct certification list 3 times per year, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on. Also, a student who is directly certified is free for the entire year, as well as through September 30th for the following school year. Let's see. Okay. So how does direct certification work? CLIC takes School Food Authority enrollment data and compares it to the information that we received from DHS regarding SNAP and TANF participation to identify students that are directly certified. So it is important for SFAs to keep the data up to date through the following databases. So for our DC public schools, they utilize Aspen to ensure that all of their enrollment data is up to date. For public charter schools, you will need to keep your student information system, also known as SIS, updated so that that information pulls through directly for DHS data. If you are in a private school, you must update your student enrollment annually via QuickBase, and we'll talk a little bit about QuickBase as we move on in this training. We will now discuss how to access the direct certification list through CLIC. Now, even though we use CLIC to access the direct certification list, it does require that you have an active SLED account. Again, if you do not have an active SLED account, this is something that you can work with your data manager to obtain. So once you have access to CLIC, you can go to the CLIC website, which is linked here in the presentation. You will then select the direct certification option. Once you have the direct certification option, you will click Open. You will then see direct certification numbers for you to select. You will then scroll down to the direct certification schools roster and select your school. Once you have the school selected, you will be able to download your list into an Excel spreadsheet. And the following slides will give you a visual of the steps that are listed here. So as stated, you will start with going to the direct certification option and click. You will then select Open once you go to the direct certifications option. Once you have opened the direct certification option, you will then select direct certification numbers. Once you have identified your school, you will have the opportunity to download that information, and you want to download it as an Excel spreadsheet. As mentioned previously, direct certification data is available through QuickBase for private schools. Access to QuickBase requires that you have an account with QuickBase. You can reach out to your program specialist to ensure that you have access to the QuickBase program. As stated for CLIC, here are the steps listed for accessing your direct certification list through QuickBase. Again, I'll have a visual presentation of these steps in the following slides. So once you are in QuickBase, you will go to the private school data collection dashboard. You will scroll down to the school year for which you need to get information and select that school year's enrollment status report. You will select your name from that list, and once you select your name, you will see the opportunity to select direct certification for the applicable school year. And again, just here is a couple of visuals for the steps that we mentioned previously. So, as I mentioned previously, direct certification must be conducted 3 times per year. The requirements are that the first direct certification list is pulled at or around the beginning of the school year. The, the second The second direct certification list must be pulled 3 months after the initial effort. And finally, the third direct certification list must be pulled at least 6 months after the initial effort. Some of the best practices include pulling a direct certification list routinely to help identify students who may become eligible during the school year. Also, you will want to save a copy of your direct certification list each time it is pulled, given that some students may stay on the list or may drop off the list. And when we conduct an administrative review, it would be best to have the most recent direct certification list available for your school. A couple of things about the students on the direct certification list and are not on the certification list. So students who are considered directly certified are eligible for free meals, and they do not have to apply for free meals via a school application. One thing that I would like to point out is that although you run your list multiple times per year, if a student is on the direct certification list after the initial pulling, you want to make sure that you change that student's status on your certification benefit issuance list. Even if you were to pull that list later on in the year and a student was no longer on the direct certification list, that student will still be eligible for meals throughout the entire year based on the initial eligibility. For students who are not on the direct certification list, they will be required to submit a farm application to determine meal eligibility. We talked a little bit about TANF and SNAP previously. So if you do have a student who is not on a direct certification list, but has a TANF or a SNAP identification number on their application and they're not on your list, they will be what we consider categorically eligible for free meals. And I will now turn it over to Kendra Walsh to discuss the free and reduced meal applications.
Thank you, Lizette. Good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Kendra Wash. I'll be presenting on free and reduced price meal applications or farm applications. So on the screen here is showing the most recently updated free and reduced price meals or farm application template, which is available on the OSSI website in English and 6 other languages. It is customizable, so you can add the school year or your letterhead at the top. It's broken up into 4 different steps, and we will walk through each step now. So the first step is to list all the children in the household. Step 2 is to list if any household members participate in SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR. Households should be listing accurate case numbers in this section. They should not list an electronic benefits transfer number or an EBT number. That is not approvable. Step 3 is to list all household members and their respective gross incomes, which is the income before taxes or deductions. And step 4 is to list contact information for one household adult and provide an adult's signature. Now showing is the back of the farm application template or page 2. So this provides examples of different income sources that each child and adult should be reported. And then there's also an optional section where the household can report racial and ethnic data for the children in that household. The bottom section is for school use only, and it is to indicate eligibility determinations and the signature of the SFA staff who process the farm applications. All right, next showing here, this is the income eligibility guidelines or the IEG chart for the 2024-25 school year. So when processing farm applications, SFA should use the household size and reported income based on frequency to determine either free or reduced price eligibility for each farm application. The income must be equal to or less than the listed amount to be eligible for the benefit level. Next, we're going to discuss determining eligibility of farm applications. So the first thing you want to do is ensure that the application is completely filled out and is signed by a household member. If step 2 has a case number listed, then you'll skip to step 3. And then you'll want to make sure that step 4 is completed. So if there is a valid case number listed, the students on that application are considered to be categorically eligible for free meals, and you'll proceed to the back of that application and select categorically eligible as their eligibility type. Then you'll sign your name in the determining official signature box and put the date. If step 2 is blank, then you'll just continue to step 3 on the application. If a household reports income sources at more than one frequency, then you must annualize all the income sources. So in order to do the annual income conversions, you will multiply it by 52 if it's weekly, multiply by 26 if it's every 2 weeks, multiply by 24 if it's twice a month, and multiply by 12 if it's monthly. You'll compare the income or the sources of the income, the sums of the income to the published IEGs for the appropriate frequency and household size to make that eligibility determination. You'll report the income findings on the bottom of page 2 or the back of the application, and you'll select the income frequency and report the household size. Using the determination that was made, you'll fill in the proper circle in the eligibility box, and then you'll sign your name in the determining official signature box and date. Now, the confirming official shall review, sign, and date when a second review of applications is required, and also for verification. And that would only be for the applications that are selected for verification. Not every application is verified. So a best practice would be, while a second review of applications is only required in specific circumstances and for verification, OSSI encourages a second review of all application determinations at all times. Next, we will discuss critical information about eligibility. So eligibility determinations are valid for the entire school year, regardless of how eligibility is determined. SFAs must carry over the eligibility status from the previous school year for up to 30 operating days or until a new eligibility determination is made, whichever comes first. Farm applications cannot be completed and signed before July 1 of the effective school year. Annually, IEGs are effective from July 1 to June 30th of the current school year. Sponsors that make changes to the farm applications, frequently ask questions, document, or use a different application format must submit applications and documents to OSSI for approval every year. All right, so this chart here further explains the carryover policy for different scenarios within a local educational agency or LEA and between different LEAs. So the carryover policy is for a child going from a standard counting and claiming school to another standard counting and claiming school within the same LEA. Carryover is mandatory, whether a child is continuing in the same school or will attend a different school within the LEA. The new school must carry over the child's eligibility status for up to 30 operating days or until a new eligibility determination is made, whichever comes first. If the child is going from standard to standard between different LEAs, then receiving schools are encouraged to use the former LEA's eligibility determination for up to 30 operating days or until a new eligibility determination is made, whichever comes first. The new school may accept the former school's eligibility determination during the carryover period without incurring liability for the accuracy of the determination. So you would just take that determination at face value. You do not have to verify that it is accurate. Now, if the child is going from a provision school, such as Provision 2 or the CEP's Community Eligibility Provision, to a standard counting and claiming school within the same LEA, then OSSI permits children moving within the LEA to receive free meals for up to 30 operating days or until a new eligibility determination is made, whichever comes first. If they're going between LEAs, Then OSSI permits children moving between LEAs to receive free meals for up to 30 operating days or until a new eligibility determination is made, whichever comes first. Similarly, this chart here is explaining the difference between the transfer policies for different scenarios within a LEA and between different LEAs. So if a child is transferring from a standard counting and claiming school to another standard counting and claiming school within the same LEA, eligibility status must transfer with the child when a child moves to a new school within an LEA. If they're going between LEAs, receiving schools are encouraged, but not required, to accept the eligibility determination from the child's former district. The receiving school may accept the eligibility determination without incurring liability for the accuracy of the determination. Then, if that child is transferring from a provision school, such as CEP, to a standard counting and claiming school within the same LEA, children transferring from a provision school must receive free meals for up to 10 days or until a new eligibility determination is made, whichever comes first. OSSI does permit children transferring from provision schools to receive free meals for up to 30 days. Free meals served under these circumstances may be claimed at the federal free rate. And similarly, between LEAs, schools must provide children transferring from provision schools free meals for up to 10 operating days or until a new eligibility determination is made. And OSSI does permit them as well to have transfer students receive free meals for up to 30 days, which will be claimed at the federal free rate as well. All right, so now we have reached our Q&A section. Lizette and I are here to answer any questions that you may have. Feel free to come off of mute or you can type your questions in the chat.
Thank you for that, Kendra. And I do see that we have a question from DCPS regarding DCPS having access to the charter school direct certification list for the purpose of qualifying sites for either the summer feeding, the SFSP or CACFP. And Robin, I am not certain whether or not there are that SFAs have access to other lists for that. So we can certainly follow up with you. I know DCPS is a little bit different because you offer meals to students that live throughout the district. So we can certainly follow up to see if you have access to other SFA information.
That would be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Vania, and I am very new in asking a question, so I hope it's not an ignorant question, but I just want to be clear as it pertains to completing these. What is the lever of the indicator that these need to be done, or should it be done for every student? I guess that's the link that I'm missing. How do I know when I need to go complete the form application?
Okay, hi Vanya. Is it Vanya or Vania?
Hi, it's Vania. Hi.
Vania. Hi, Vania. Okay, so I'll
Hi.
take this. So at the beginning of the school year, you actually would not be completing the farm applications. That's for the households to complete. So either, the adults, parents, guardians at the household complete the application, and then they submit it to your school for you to process it. Now, typically, you're going to receive an influx of those at the beginning of the school year, but they are allowed to submit applications at any point throughout the school year. So they can submit multiple applications. They could submit their first application midway. It just depends. So essentially, we'll go back to that carryover period. So whatever their status was in the previous school year will carry over for the first 30 operating days of the new school year. So usually after that falls off, they're going to go to paid status if they have not made a new determination, either submitting a new application or being found on the direct certification list. And then you'll send them a notification letting them know their status has changed. So usually at that point, they're going to submit a new application.
Yeah.
So
Or
everyone,
do our due diligence prior to that to let them know that they need to submit an application
exactly. So
before that 30-day window expires. Okay.
Exactly. So yeah, at the beginning of the school year, you'll let them know, hey, the application is open. Here's where it's located, whether it's on your website, whether you submit or whether you send home, paper applications, however you guys, usually do that.
Okay.
So everyone is not going to submit an application because some parents know, they're going to be paid. So sometimes they just don't do it. But if someone has the chance of being either free or reduced, usually they'll submit an application or you just have to remind them.
Got it. So I will be going in and sort of validating those applications when they come in.
Exactly. So once you receive it, you have
Thank
10 operating days to process it and let them know what their new status is going to be, whether it's free, reduced, or paid.
Thank you.
And
You're
Vania,
welcome.
the one thing that I would add is families can start filling out applications as early as July 1st. So if you have families that are reaching out to you via or to your office, or maybe even stopping by this time of the year to get enrollment data, they are able to fill out applications beginning July 1st. So ensure that no one, I mean, it's already June 27th, so I don't think that you'll have that issue. But just in case you had a family come in tomorrow, they couldn't fill out the farm application until July 1st.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So we have it open for, yeah, Kendra.
How about
We
you?
still have it open for other questions. I know I'm just kind of going back to the chat. I know we have some veterans here. Brian has been around for a couple of years. So just wanted to make sure we responded to any questions anyone have about either the farm applications or pulling direct certification list for your SFA.
And just a follow-up for that, for all of the newer folks, does everyone have access to Click or QuickBase if you're at a private school?
That's a great question.
I don't believe I have. This is Vania again. I don't believe I have access to Click, and I'm just getting acquainted. I have Orchard, but nothing for Click.
Okay, so we can talk about this offline, but Annie will know how to grant you access. She'll know who is the data manager at your SFA, and they'll be able to grant you that access. All right, so hearing no other questions, let's go ahead and move on. We have a couple more slides. So Asi is happy to share the resources slide. And this slide is actually geared towards resources for parents and guardians to help them fill out farm applications accurately. So SFA staff that are working with families to ensure that the information reported on farm applications is accurate and inclusive of all income sources should provide these resources to the households. So first on the list, we have the OSSI website. And that links directly to the section that contains all the farm and direct certification information. Next, we have the frequently asked questions or FAQ letter to parents. So that's something that contains the frequently asked questions that parents or guardians may have about farm apps. This is a template, so you can insert your school's specific information and then just make that available to them. Then we have the how to fill out a farm application document, which is a step-by-step instructions for parents or guardians. Next, we have the farm application instruction sheet, which is a similar document that does also provide step-by-step instructions. Then we have a farm application fact sheet, which provides various facts about the farm application. And lastly, we have the eligibility manual for school meals, which is the guide containing all things related to direct certification, farm applications, and verification. Okay, I see a question in the chat. Can the link to access the direct cert list be added to this chat, please, for PCS? Okay, so we actually do have it in the slide for Click, but we can put that in the chat.
To follow up on that question, Alba, do you have access to Click to obtain a direct certification list?
Hi, Lizette. I do not.
Okay. All right. I know Aisha may have access to Click. So if she does, that's great. And then we can identify if you need to have access to Click as well, since I know that you two work in tandem.
Yes, I can follow up with her. I honestly don't think she does have access. Because we've talked about it previously of being able to view it directly.
Okay. So yeah, we will certainly follow up with you individually. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
I think the fact that we have no questions either means folks have heard this information 28 times and they don't have any, or we did such a great job explaining the information that they feel fully empowered to move forward with pulling direct certification lists and supporting families as they fill out farm applications. I'm thinking that's what that means.
I think it's the latter, Lizette. So let's go ahead and move on to our last slide for today. Thank you for joining us. Please reach out to your program specialist if you have any questions. Here's all of our contact information right here on the slide.
And the one thing that I will add, so this is part one. If you've attended this training last year, you know that this is part one of 2 trainings that we conduct regarding farm application and direct certification. And the second training will be centered on verification. So we will be sharing information about the training for verification in the coming months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
We'll give a couple of folks some time to ask any questions or log off that are still here with us.